Hello and welcome to another Near Reading cast. As always, my name's Johno and I'm joined by a very special guest, Chris Dyer. How's it going, Chris?
Hi, Johno.
We're here to watch, well, it's slightly awkward, the winners' final game from the World Elimination between Weston Odom on the left-hand side, playing CTM, and yourself, Chris Dyer, on the right, playing Whizzard. So I guess I'll attempt to remain neutral or support Wes or something. I don't know.
Wes is a really nice guy. Support Wes.
Yeah. We actually chatted at the end of the previous video a little bit about what you expected going into this game, and that you knew that he had some changes to deck like yours, for instance, your CTM.
Yeah, so I knew he had Mamba Virtual Tour and product placement. I knew he had no bankers but had a biotic.
Yes, that's right.
I knew his ice included Data Ravens.
And you're obviously on kind of Obolus. You're on a Faustless rig, Obolus.
Yeah, so it's almost exactly the kind of traditional Temujin Wizard decks, but also includes Obolus and a Progenitor.
Yeah. But
other than that, it's pretty standard.
Yeah, okay. But relevantly, it's fixed breakers, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. A slow, very considering first turn from...
But equally a very good one, right?
Yes.
So a CTM, you really want to install an asset, protect the most vulnerable server, and...
so he didn't Ice HQ. Now, if he was playing against his own Wizard, he would have, right? So
I think, actually, I prefer to Ice HQ against both Wizards, and the reason is that if they've got Temujin, you get a lot more value off running HQ repeatedly than you do off running R&D repeatedly. So
and if they drop a turn on medium and run, then that's fine. They've lost a lot of momentum.
If you do that sort of thing, you've either got to get a ton of points and then set yourself up, or get lucky.
Yeah.
I have left a Sensi here, which is obviously criminal.
So you weren't tempted to run it. You are Wizard.
You
weren't confident about it.
Yeah. So Wes got a hedge fund, but equally you almost certainly should run and trash this Sensi. This is probably a misplay.
But I can imagine you'll run it next turn. That seems reasonable. So I think that...
It depends what else is in my hand, I guess. If I've got a strike or something, then I would maybe want to build up economy a little bit before running it. But you really, really don't want to let... I can't emphasise this too much. You really don't want to let Sensi fire against CTM.
Yeah, okay.
Even once can be awful.
Yeah, okay, so that's right. He's already got one use out of it, so... a GFI or whatever has already made its way out of his hand into R&D, and he's already drawn another piece of ice or a Harding news,
Yeah.
Okay, I should mention, it's not quite audible, there was a loud background noise, so it won't come out in front of the video. There was a fair amount of patter between you two in the first two turns. there's a lot of chat, but things get serious. Wes is going to focus. He's going to try and push you out of his mind and focus on doing CTM things, like, for instance, installing Arsenal HQ.
Yeah, how rude of him. I think we played in a pretty good tempo this game, actually. So that's where, and having left the Sensi, I'm now punished for it, because now he's got this is either an MVT or a product placement. And
yeah, there's no chance it's a Sansan trying to bluff.
That's made the whole thing worse, yeah.
So I guess you still want to trash it, but strike will help.
Yeah, and I think... So obviously my memory is terrible, but I think that's why I left it, because I think I had strike in hand and wanted to build up to get rid of that. Yeah. I also was, and I don't know why, I was confident this was a product placement.
Okay, and it was, so that's fine. If that had been an MVT, that would have been a lot worse. I guess you can click for credits. You obviously weren't forced to do the CTM trace.
So you still, and this still plays into what I was saying, you really want... You really need to get rid of the Sensi anyway. You can't afford to let it live, even if you go low on credits, even if you risk the hard hit and use.
Cern Inject draws you a lot of cards.
Yeah,
typically a lot of cards. Yeah. That's a gamble. So you're gonna. It's early, but with the strike down and with some money in a cast, you can aggressively check any.
Yeah,
remote,
so strike is better against CTM than slums in a lot of ways, because you can parasite their stuff as well. But it means now that Wes is going to have to think about not just putting out remote. He's got to realise that I'm going to run it. Now sometimes that's fine. Sometimes you want to keep putting out remote just to waste a click, and potentially even waste some credits if it's an MVT. But you know that your plan A, which is that your politicals stay in play and give you insane tempo, doesn't work now. So you've got to at least adjust your plans a bit.
I guess if there's I don't know. If you know he's going to run the remote, you can always not traps, but lay out things that, like pads, that kind of thing. Things that
Yeah,
it
that's
makes
right.
a tough decision.
And sometimes, depending on the way the game is going, even trading a click so they trash a political asset is fine if you're trying to tax their clicks.
Yeah. And I guess also he could, if he has breaking news, he could consider scoring out of hand just to kill the strike. There's not great use for breaking news. You'd rather use it for more, but...
Yeah. So seeing a Sensi is neither here nor there off there, but again, it saves me a click because he'll almost certainly stall it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So you're going to have another go at R&D. It's just Data Raven. That's not great at this stage because if that appears somewhere... I mean, you mentioned...
It's an economy swing, though. So the chances are that if he does... If he does put it down, I'm going to bounce off it, and then our credit is almost exactly reverse.
West Ham did somewhat disbelieving when he put down the progenitor. I'm guessing it was not on his list.
No. But it is good. So this is really interesting play by Wes. So
he's going to stall double advance. So there's not many things this could be. It could be a Beal who wants to score for 3 points. It's not likely. It could be a breaking news or a GFI. They're the real options.
So it could be a breaking news that he's running tag punishment off, but there's nothing. My board doesn't warrant that tag punishment. There's not enough things.
Close to counts or trash the cast. If
it's an Astro, or I think even a Beal, you
never advance it. Right?
Never advance it. So I was 90% sure this is a GFI. What that tells you about his hand is really interesting.
Well, it tells you that I guess he wants to kill the strike because he wants stopping assets.
So he wants to kill the strike, but
he
also means he's got no other agendas in hand.
Yeah,
or he's got a breaking news and doesn't want to use it.
You'd score a GFI last.
That's right. Yeah. And because you defend it with a toll booth, that means that's such a big tempo cost. So he's gonna if he scores it next turn, it's going down to 1 credit, and that's really, really bad.
Yeah, obviously the toll booth's like super expensive, but I
mean, what he's obviously thinking is that later on he will be able to score more behind that toll booth. So he's banking on getting value out of that toll booth for breaking news and things like that.
So that's why the Parasite's good, right? Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It means that this. Yeah. If he wants to get value out of it, he's got to go fast, and we have the money to go that fast because it'll be in Yogg range in 2 turns. So.
It will be, yeah. I've pitched a Yogg. I don't know if that means I've got a second one or not. It's like I'm watching this game for the first time.
Well, I mean, the whole week was a bit of a rush, to be honest.
Yeah. So this is I think this is the only time all weekend I saw a CTM deck score a GFI like that. I saw a couple psychoed, but I never saw one scored off the table like that. So
yeah, it's interesting. But it did a few things. I mean, it did kill the strike, and it did get him up to 3 points,
which is not
nothing.
Which is not trivial.
If he can if he can make a Sansan stick and score.
So that is obviously
all the economy.
Crazy inject. That's a really strong inject.
So there was 2 Temujin, a cast, and was it a gamble? No, it was Dirty Laundry.
Dirty Laundry, which is even better with Temujin, obviously.
So Temujin on HQ, interesting, bold. Not expecting a resistor, even if it is.
So even if it's a resistor, I can pay the trace. In fact, no, I've got a paperclip in the bin.
Okay.
So I don't even. I'm not. A resistor can't keep me out.
Yes, that seems good. Okay.
Quandary is the only ice that would ruin my life here.
Quandary would ruin your life.
Yeah.
There's, I mean, no one wants Quandary in CTM.
Yeah. So that's why I don't do Dirty Laundry on this click. And that's pretty bad. That's pretty annoying as well.
Yeah. But you're going to get your Temujin money. You can Dirty Laundry next click. It's fine. You put it back up to 3.
Now the interesting point is that I don't think there's. If I'm playing correctly, and again I can't remember what I was thinking at the time, I don't think there's many agendas in R&D in HQ. If there's one, it's because he's probably drawn it this last turn. Because literally any other agenda he'd have put in a remote, I think. So there might be another food in there potentially. He might have drawn an agenda, but otherwise it's pretty low value.
Yeah, but I guess what it does is it sets you up for HQ runs over the next few turns.
That's right.
You can run HQ over the next 3 turns. You don't have to run every click even. Just he's not going to tax you out of HQ.
Yeah, and my economy is now very, very strong.
Yeah, that's true. So the Temujin and Dirty Laundry doing work. Pass. Yeah, worth trash if you're going to run.
Yeah, well, especially because strike is gone. So
yeah, you want to trash it before it hits the table, right?
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay. So despite you running through the pop-up a couple of times, he is only on 3 credits.
Yeah.
So it might be possible for you to pressure R&D or to... I guess you're reluctant to keep running HQ.
Yeah, so I don't want to give him 3 credits from pop-up. And like I said, I don't think there's money in... I don't think there's agendas in there at this point.
Okay, so as Wes here, I'm guessing that...
So Wes, I think this looks a bit chancy for Wes. He's got to reinforce HQ because otherwise I will keep running it. That remote is now vulnerable to Yogg, so he can't put something in this turn because if I've got Yogg, I can go get it.
Yeah, I mean, it costs 3 credits, but that's fine.
And he's seen me pitch a Yogg, so that's got to make you think that Yogg's in hand, because otherwise you probably don't discard it. R&D only has 1 ice, he's only got 3 credits, so scoring that GFI behind the toll booth is costing him a lot of time and money.
Yeah, that's right.
And the only thing that I'm not doing, I'm not punishing with multi-access at the moment, so...
Yeah, that's right, you're only getting single looks, so you can see hedge fund, isn't it?
Yeah, which
he'll play next time.
Yeah, well,
right?
credit hedge fund at least puts his economy back on the board.
So you can continue drawing. This is fairly low rig. Like there's no board, so you've got Progenitor, which is currently doing nothing. So eventually you've got the money. So ice card goes down.
So that now means that Yogg will always be able to
breakers.
get through toll booth if he purges. But again, I've left a remote again. And
that's true.
I'm going to have very strong words with myself because
it could be a Sensi, right?
It could be a Sensi. It's a Sensi. So I shouldn't let that go. I'm going to blame the black sleeves on the black mat.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Just to be clear, it wasn't that.
Yeah. I mean, that is unfair. I think this mat's fine. Actually, it's quite.
No,
nice.
it's fine. That was a light-hearted. the only fault.
It's a good strat. It's a good strat though to hide your assets, hide your remotes, camouflage them in space.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have let. The only thing is, I know his turn always certainly is going to be credit hedge anyway, but you don't want to let him have more options in hand.
Yeah, that's true. So now that he's fired a Sensi, he probably still does credit hedge.
Exactly. His turn probably doesn't change. It just means that if he had an agenda in hand, he probably doesn't anymore.
That's exactly it. So he's going to go up to 9 credits. So now, your turn, you're going to go off to the Sensi, right? Well, you have to. You've got the money to fight the Trace or to clear a target's fine. You draw first. How many strikes are in this list?
2.
Okay, all right. So if you had another strike, you'd play it. I guess you've got at least 1 slums as well? Oh, maybe not.
No slums.
No slums, okay.
The other thing this Parasite is going to do is going to force him to purge at some point, which is very strong.
Yeah, I guess a possible downside to Parasite, of course, is it does trigger CTM. So now that the strike is gone, if that toll booth dies, there could in theory be a CTM trace.
Yeah, but you'd always pay 2 credits on the click to...
yeah, it'll be start turn, so it's not a big deal. If it was end of turn, it'd be a lot worse, of course. So you've just drawn. I feel like you're going to run at some point. It doesn't have to be next click. But
yeah, so
okay.
Yeah, that's good too because so that sense he has to go. I almost don't want to run for single accesses anymore because so this is the way that almost all games go. I want to build up to a point where I'm accessing lots of cards from medium, not just some cards.
Yeah, that's right. So you need to. I mean, ideally, you're going to start drawing into your medium and stuff like that. He does have 9 credits, so he can defend R&D now. The thing is, you always have to fear medium, so I feel like he should start icing R&D sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and what's interesting is that so he's got a biotic, obviously, because we know this list has a biotic, but he doesn't really have a way to score apart from that at the moment. So hasn't got a Santa.
That's true.
That remote.
If he draws an Astro,
isn't that strong?
I feel like and the Baltic, of course. I feel like you could Baltic out an Astro.
Yeah, he would 100% Baltic an Astro if he's got it. But at the moment, like those are one-off
cards.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
And if he wants to score any other agenda, so CTM's at his best when you can score a break and use off the table, either via a Sansan or because it's in the remote. And at the moment, he's not threatening that.
But he has drawn, which means purge is off the table. So he's not going to purge this turn. He's going to sweeps. So he's happy to make money.
Yeah, and he will need... So the Bartic, obviously, as well as... he needs a Bartic or a Sansan, which means that both of those are quite money hungry. He's also going to have to rest some more ice at some point because this Tolbu's going to go.
Yeah, that's true. So none of his assets are sticking.
So he has found the second ice for R&D. So this turn, theoretically, I could run and kill the toll booth because I've got an ice carver.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about that because I noticed that as well. Do you? I mean, you didn't. Spoilers. But do you?
So if I don't, he purges next turn.
Yes.
Almost guaranteed.
Because 8 credits is a sizable investment.
That's right, yeah. So...
Having said that, this toll booth is basically blank now anyway.
Exactly.
He knows you're Yogg.
The question for me is whether... I think I get more value here, and this is what I went through. I get more value out of forcing him to purge to keep his toll booth than I do out of just going and killing the toll booth. Okay. Especially if I've got an answer to it in hand. So if I've got a Yogg in hand, I know I can get through that toll booth, and it being on the board isn't that big a problem.
Okay.
Whereas free extra, like a whole extra turn, a time walk effectively is incredibly valuable.
So that's what happens. He did purge, and so you do have a time walk. You do have a whole turn, a whole extra turn without defense. It's going to drop a sucker as well. So that is also going to help you blow up the toll booth when the time comes.
Yeah. So 2 suckers is pretty aggressive. I don't know if I need to actually. And I don't know if that is a well-spent click. Obviously, what I'm thinking, again, it depends what I've got in hand, and I honestly can't remember, but it means that you can get through Archangels a bit cheaper.
So where's a Raven? That's almost
yeah, so we spoke about this Raven. So this is exactly what I meant. Because I do have another Parasite in hand, that's why I wanted 2 Dayseekers.
Okay.
So because he's got, because he's now Res the Raven, that's effectively a big economy hit for him. So he's back down to 8 credits, which is enough to score an Astra or something, but not enough to do anything else. So
yeah, that's right. So sticking the Parasite on it means that as days are numbered, right? You can blow up the next turn.
Yeah.
If you want to take a detour of our archives, and that's not. Oh, you've got last card. In fact, you can blow up straight away.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want it to be on to have a couple of tokens on the Parasite, because it means you can blow it without taking the tag.
So Earthrise is interesting, included in Anarch as well. You have a lot of draw.
Yeah, because draw gets you money, and this deck really needs money. So Earthrise and Inject both help you find the Temujin.
So we are getting a
so
Bartik.
So there is the Bartik, and this is what we spoke about. Because he res that Data Raven, so this is a close to
It's
cancellation.
breaking news, yeah. It's actually an
That's
ASI.
Right, okay.
So he's going to kill the Temujin, which is relevant, and the Carver.
Yep.
He cost you a few draws from Earthrise as well. The Carver is relevant because it means that now if he can
somehow wrangle a
time
purge
it
at the
right,
time, so
then
you'd have to have something behind it first and then purge, which is still awkward.
Yeah.
CVS is a lot better in that regard, but it's not easy to do.
And you've got 2 suckers,
So I've got another Temujin because I had 2 in hand, which means that I can.
And he's back down to 1 credit, so you can be pretty confident about running HQ. In fact, you put it on HQ.
I put it on HQ again, so so
you can almost certainly get in.
So this is kind of a slightly awkward choice.
So in fact, you're going to retrieval run for York, perhaps. Save you some money on top up, maybe.
I'm over memory though.
I think you're going to trash something, don't I?
I hope so. Trash the non-alt, yeah.
The non-alt, that's correct. That's the correct play.
Yeah, so that makes...
so it's another pop-up, so you can just York through, that's fine.
Yeah, but
you're making money.
I'm making money, but so's he, and I think it's more relevant at this point that he is that he was poor, and this maybe stops him being
That's true, you are getting into HQ though, you are going to keep him honest. He's not going to buy up again.
Get rid of that Jackson.
Really kill Jackson, that's true. So you can barrel back in. You're going to give up 2 credits to him, and that's okay because you're going to get fresh access.
It's also because he's only got 2 cards in hand now, so
he could easily have a Beal by now.
It's not necessarily easy for him to translate that money into points.
That's true, and he hasn't had any cleaning Jacksons or anything, so you could very easily have another agenda.
And these sucker tokens are relevant.
That's true, they are very relevant because you're on fixed breakers. You can see EOI, okay, so...
I thwarted that plan by not having agendas when he scored breaking news, Not scoring any points is savagely outplaying my opponent in this regard.
that is sometimes agendas... You want them to stay in R&D.
Huge value at this progenitor so far as it sits there looking pretty on my mat.
At least take up no memory, 0 to the
Yeah, that's right,
good. Who knows the cost to Wes in mind games though, right? Okay, so as far as Wes is concerned, he's kind of poor. He's starting to make money again because you've got Temujin on HQ behind 2 pop-ups. But I wonder what his line is here.
So 4
he's got EOI and a mystery card.
He's on 4 points, which is relevant because it puts you in breaking news range if you can breaking news EOI.
Yes.
But he's lost the biotic, which means that the challenge for him is going to be scoring that breaking news just to land in it. Also, I need a global food and I've got no points.
Yeah. So I mean, you could have Jackson as well. So it's going to be a little bit of time before that can come
right. So this is
still take 2.
This is interesting.
I mean, this is a definite ruse, right? There's no chance this is available. Hey, I just realised something good this could be. It could be a Sensu. And you're going to crash the topic on the way in. No, that's
it
dumb.
could be a Sensu.
But I mean, so maybe it's a ruse, but I think you check it, right? Like, you lose a click, sure. Yeah. And there's a question about whether you trash the toll booth or you leave it and just yog it.
That was Peddler into a junk Peddler. I can remember that quite well.
Peddler had a backup Peddler on it. So
a Peddler in 2 events I think I hit. I'm sure the second one's better.
So I mean, I feel like you still... Well, I don't know. I feel like you run. You got an Obelisk. So that's going to help a little bit with the draw. Another draw engine card. So you did not check the remote.
I didn't check the remote.
That's fine. If it's a Sensi, you blanked it. So
Yeah, so I'm almost purely because putting a agenda in there would be crazy.
It would be crazy, but maybe it's a GFI and he wants you to steal it. I mean,
Yeah, exactly,
there are reasons
exactly.
you put something
So there are times when that is extremely relevant, where effectively, and CTM does this all the time. It says, here's a remote you can break into, but you don't really want to.
Yeah. So it could be an MVT or anything anyway.
Yeah.
But you're on 8 credits. You are playing around hard-hitting news, which is relevant. Because there will be hard-hitting news in this list, of course.
I think it's gone, actually. So I think
There's no hard-hitting news in this list?
No, I think it's discarded it.
Oh, it's discarded.
I think by this point, I know. So I'm not sure I knew if he had 1 or 2.
You've got to respect it.
Captain Hindsight knows that he's only playing one hard-hitting news in this list.
Captain Hindsight's really good at
He's
net
very,
runaway.
very strong player, yeah.
Okay, so there's going to be a purge, and he's going to use Jackson. That's what was in the remote.
Yeah.
To put back a Biotic and something else, a hedge, I think it was. Jackson, I'm sorry. So Jackson returned another Jackson, a Baltic, and Mission Card.
So I've gone a long way through my deck here,
Yeah.
which means if I'm Wes, I'm worried about medium now because he knows I must have medium.
You've got
right
at
now.
least one in hand. You've got that progenitor just sitting there ready for a medium.
Yeah, that's right.
For no memory. I mean, that's what it's for, right? So yeah, all you have to do is get into R&D. Let's say maybe you have some way of trashing that Data Raven. I don't know.
So Data Raven's going to die at some point anyway.
He's going to die. He's going to die as soon as
So,
you want it to,
so
right?
I know I can make money off the Temujin to get Data Sucker Tankers as well. So
yeah, that's right. You're only going to get 1 sucker, and you've lost the ice card, so it'll be a couple of turns. You have to do it twice.
yeah, so I'm
it's
still
a bit
keeping the remote honest, which means that it's still hard for him to score.
He flipped over a card while shuffling. Don't worry, no one saw it. A local cameraman was able to assist.
What a hero.
I know, right? It's the true hero. So yeah, anyway, he Jacksoned some stuff back in. I wonder.
So this game, from Wes's side, I think this game looks like he needs a Biotic as his best way out of this game.
I wonder if he needs to lock R&D. So I've seen, thanks to recording many games from Worlds, I've seen Alex White play CTM, and he aggressively ices R&D, like a lot.
Yeah.
He's GFI. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
/ bad news.
you can actually see and could hear how happy Wes was for me to steal his GFI.
Because we know he's got an EOI. If he's got breaking news, of course.
Breaking news and a way to score it
scoring
ends the game. Yeah, that's right. So breaking news Biotic is now game.
So we can go back in. Okay. Still got that
There you are,
EOI.
yep,
Very
which shows
good.
he's not crazy. Hasn't pitched.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be crazy. But you're on 2 points.
On 2 points. I've
So-
got enough sucker tokens to get rid of the Data Raven and R&D.
Medium is the line. Medium is always the line. Medium is the ultimate line of all games.
The other point here is that if he draws an agenda, so I haven't touched R&D, but he knows I can run HQ and will run HQ. So if he draws an agenda, he's got to do something with it or risk losing it.
Yeah, and you've got 1 use left on Temujin, so you might get away with it, but it is risky. So he's going to overdraw. Okay, so this is it. Ultimately, he wants to draw his combo, right? If you want to call it that.
So he needs to draw breaking news and Biotic, but he needs to keep it safe as well.
Yeah, even if he had, I mean, here's the thing: he could have any other Ender on ice, apart from a code gate. That'd be reasonable.
It's a
as
paper
well?
clip in the bin, so it can't be resisted.
True, okay.
So actually, there's very little ice in this deck that will keep me out. Archangel would be amazing here.
Roast turret.
Yeah,
Probably not.
snake.
Snake.
But I don't think that list had a snake in it.
That'd be strong. Okay, so you are going to run HQ for the Temujin and Sucker.
Clear Temujin
relevant.
because I'm pretty sure now you have to run that remote because breaking news is game.
That's true. Yeah, you can't risk.
You can't let breaking news
risk
go now.
breaking
Whereas
news.
before I could.
And as Wes, if he had, I don't know, let's say he had 2 breaking news and no bars,
or a Sansan.
he might throw one down. Yeah, you've got to trust Sansan as well. Same reason. So you are going to pay the toll.
Pay the free, but not. Oh, I'm going to trash
So
it.
you are going to bribe. That's true. So there's another. You could also have just yogged through.
Yes.
And not triggered CTM trace. In fact, you missed the CTM trace, so you got away with it. But you could have. Beer.
Yeah. So and that's because it wasn't safe in HQ.
Yeah.
So that's because
fair.
he knew
That's
I was
fair.
going to run HQ.
Yeah, and if he scores it, also it just means if he gets breaking news, he just wins anyway.
Yeah.
So
I go to get
Doesn't
a
need
sucker
the
token
Baltic or
back
the
because
EOI.
that. So I think I'm looking heavily towards medium here because that means next turn I can run R&D.
yes, and here's the medium.
There's a medium.
Aha. So this is a threat, and Wes needs to respond to it, right? He needs to install ice and R&D because
Either he needs to be confident that inside ice keeps me out, or he needs to install ice.
I would say that you have fairly openly telegraphed you're going to hit R&D. That's not necessarily bad news, right? You are going to do it, and you're going to get the most out of it.
Yeah. So the problem with medium
is the target.
When you go in, especially if you're going to tag me, you really want to take 4 clicks to do it, which means you have to have medium on the board in advance.
Yeah, and fine, right? Because you've got Whiz, you've got some money, so anything you see with the trash cost on it is going to get trashed.
CTM's ice is sneaky porous. So R&D is sneaky porous because it's got so many assets in that you can trash.
It's got assets, and you just like, Sansan, yeah, all right. Oh, pad, sure, I guess I'll trash it because I'm going to run again. I want to get more access. Yeah. So Arsenal R&D were pretty strong here. He aggressively drew a couple of times.
So I think he doesn't have ice.
I think he does have, I think, I saw a piece of ice in his hand. I don't know if he installs it, and I don't know if it's relevant. I mean,
so I know he doesn't install it because I remember this bit of the game.
Yeah.
So he doesn't install it. So he's thinking about the remote. So he's looking for a way, and that I agree with this actually. He's looking for a way to win the game.
So he's just hoping to weather the storm because you kind of need to check the remote as well now. So that's saved him from a click of medium, and if he gets lucky on the R&D. If he doesn't immediately lose an R&D, and you need 2 agendas, so that's fine.
So you're going to
go.
My thinking here is you run medium first, and then you see if you need to run that remote afterwards.
So you take the tag, you blow it up.
Because what I know that Wedge didn't know.
No more CTM.
We'll see in a second. So another Data Raven.
Yep.
And this is my problem with Data Raven.
This is click 1. So you now must decide if you're all in. Are you all in on tags, Chris?
Exactly. And I am. And the reason I'm all in on tags is that there is another medium on that peddler.
Yes,
which makes going all in on tags incredibly valuable.
And you're ready for the peddler as he does the choice. He doesn't bother boosting it.
No. Well, he should be aware that I'm going to take it.
You've already shown intent.
Yeah.
You're not going to break it. It could be a mimic. No, it can't be a mimic because you would have had to do it by now. So.
I'd played. I can't even break it at strength 4, right?
Oh, good. You're right. You used to do something. Okay. Ta-da! Okay,
so double medium makes this turn incredibly good for me if I win. So I only need to score 2 agendas.
So you're going to see 7 on the last one.
Yeah, and some of them may well be fresh cards. So this is really high value for me if I win. If I lose, it's obviously terrible. But
this is a bit of a thing. So that leads me to suggest it's a Jackson remote, but I don't think it's necessarily a benefit.
So that's good.
Or maybe it's not.
You clear the first one, which means 2 fresh cards, and now I think
that's going to give you 8 total.
This preordains where all my clicks are going. They're all just going to go around R&D.
Yeah,
I'm going to try and win this turn.
I mean, if you miss, then he's got EOI. He's going to take your GFI.
Yeah, probably.
So there's a Beal. Okay, so that's fine. You've got a bunch more cards to come.
And again, that clears another card, which means that I've got another card.
I mean, there's no reason to keep your money or anything now, right?
No, my money is almost irrelevant in that I just want to win this turn. So.
Paying 5 credits for an access is basically what you're doing. And that's totally worth it when you need to win this turn. Yeah. So that's it. And I mean, it's tough in this position. R&D is where you lose because
I felt this turn was highly likely to win.
Yes, I agree. Because if you're getting 7, 8, 9 total accesses and you're going to trash that, so that'll make it 10 total accesses over the course of 4 clicks, then it's GFI for the game. So then that's it, right? You know you're going to get 7 if you've got a medium and another medium on a peddler.
Yeah,
that secret backup medium, then you're just going to get a mad number of accesses. So often the way these games end, I guess, is that the runner goes tag me, and over a few turns they get a lot of. And this
is the problem with Data Raven. So Data Raven is pretty hard in the run ice early, but you saw then. In fact, I didn't even need to parasite the 2 ravens. Because it was 2 ravens, and my turn would have been exactly the same if I couldn't break in there. I'd have just run through 2 ravens happily for the accesses. If they decide to go all in, Data Raven is blank.
Yeah. Okay. So if the first one, so let's say you didn't have the parasite.
Yep.
If you've got a rezzed raven and an unrezzed card and a medium on a peddler, do you run? Do you run and take the tag? Do you decide already without knowing the second card?
I don't think I do. No.
Okay, so you'd have to find that first.
Yep, I think I'd always blow it up, clear the tag, see what the second ice is. But as I knew I could get in, there was so much value that turn in running several times.
Yeah, of course, and that's it. If you see the turn when you can get a huge number of cards from R&D, then you take it. That's right. So I wonder if Wes could have played it differently.
I think Wes's draw was pretty difficult for him. Watching it back especially. So it struck me at the time that scoring that GFI was unusual, and I think that really showed that there wasn't a huge amount in his hand, but he felt like he needed to score a GFI, which is a pretty awkward position for CTM to be in. They don't really want to do that. And then when he biotic to breaking news, the worst he could do to him was All-Seeing Eye, which wasn't that bad. EOI would have been worse. Closed accounts would have been worse. All-Seeing Eye was annoying, but it wasn't terrible. He hit free resources, but it wasn't that big a problem.
That's true. Yeah, and if that had been closed account, that would have been very bad.
I don't think Wes saw the two mediums coming, so I don't think he saw that there could be a second medium on Peddler, because if he did, there's no way he would have iced the remote instead of R&D.
This is the thing that I've learned from playing against, especially at Worlds. Like I played against Whizzard, of course, everyone did. There's so much. Every Anarch deck has 3 medium, because why wouldn't you? Yeah. And every game ends with medium and going tag me and hitting R&D.
I don't think runners can actually legally win without medium anymore. And that's the only way to win.
That's actually one of the reasons why I respect the way, and I mentioned it before, the way Alex White plays CTM, because he ices R&D a lot.
Proactively tries to avoid that.
He'll have 3 ice and R&D, and he'll spend a turn installing ice, taking 2 credits, and he'll get up to 4 or 5 ice, because
and it's
that's where he's going to lose.
It's to stop the situation, and this is what you find in CTM a lot, that suddenly they've broken into R&D, they've got 3 cancels on medium, and then you ice R&D, and it's too late.
It's too late. That's right, because you want to be purging and installing ice.
Yeah.
Correct. Anyway, congratulations, Chris. You made your way to the final through the winners bracket. We'll see how that turns out later on. Wes will drop down to the losers bracket. So in the next video, though, we are also going to drop down to the losers bracket, and we're going to see, an all Brit matchup.
Yeah.
We're going to see Ben Nee versus Alex White. So hold on, let me think about this. Was this a top 4? No, this was a game to make top 4.
6, yeah.
So there were 2 games going on. I believe that at the same time this was happening, then we had Dave Hoyland and Brian Cronin on stream, on the official FFG stream. So that means that there would be yourself and Wes, and the winner of this game and the winner of that game is the top 4.
Correct.
Yes, that sounds correct. Okay, so now Benny's on Sync, and Alex White's on Whizzard, the same Whizzard as you, in fact. Any thoughts about that matchup?
Yeah, this matchup sucks for Whizzard.
Okay, all right.
It's very difficult. You don't get a lot of value out of being Whizzard. He's got a lot of ice. It's really annoying. He just ices centrals. It's really, really awkward. I think this is Ben's scent deck is very, very strong against all varieties of Whizzard. The one silver lining for Alex is that his matchup is better than the Siphon Anarch matchup.
Okay, so I see what you're saying.
Because his game's not reliant. So Ben's whole plan is that you'll be tagged and then you'll lose some stuff and you'll die. Alex at least doesn't need to be tagged for his deck to operate efficiently. He can work without being tagged.
Okay, that's fair, yeah. But the Hate Bear, so-called Hate Bear archetype that's floating around, requires tags to actually operate.
It can work without them, but it's at its best when it's tagged,
which you
can't do against Sync.
Yes, of course. Okay.
So that helps a bit, but I think Sync is still favoured in this matchup, I think.
Great. All right, I'm looking forward to that. So I'd like to remind all of our viewers they can find all the videos at the website neoreddinggrid.co.uk, and they can find us on Twitter and on Facebook and on Patreon, and check out the Dead Channel podcast. Thank you, Chris, for helping me commentate.
My pleasure.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.